The Demon Within. It was many, many years ago, in a tiny village, that a young lad named Jacob made his home. He was the son of a farmer and spent his days doing various small jobs on the farm or, during the warm months of the year, foraging for berries and mushrooms in the adjacent forest. Jacob was an extremely inquisitive boy who had a great passion for the mysteries of the forest and regularly ventured further into the darkness of the tree lines than his friends did. One hot day, when the sun was already low in the sky and the shadows were beginning to lengthen, Jacob came across a strange creature while walking in the forest. The surroundings were completely enveloped in darkness, and the creature's skin seemed designed to absorb any light. It lay there, on the forest floor, in a state of weakness and injury. Jacob carefully approached and slowly sank to his knees next to the mysterious being. Its eyes slowly opened and shone in the darkness like two glowing coals, emitting an intense glow. Jacob, his voice trembling with fear, asked the question, "Could you please tell me who you are?" The being spoke in a voice that sounded like the gentle whisper of the wind. "My existence is marked by exhaustion. I am a spirit wandering in the darkness, a being of darkness separated from its human vessel. My very existence is threatened. I need a new body to continue and not be doomed." Jacob felt an icy hand wrap around his heart and grip it tightly. "What interest do you have in me?" The being expressed a desire that it needed your physical body. "Allow me to enter into your inner being and I will give you a strength beyond your imagination. It will be a mixture of human and demon in you, a combination of the two entities." Jacob hesitated for a moment, but ultimately curiosity and the law of power overcame his initial fear. He nodded his head slowly. And the unusual being moved noiselessly like a shadow into his physical shell. A resounding scream that expressed both pain and a profound change escaped him as he perceived the ominous expansion of a dark and overpowering force in his body. From that point on, Jacob was no longer the person he had been before. He possessed remarkable strength, was limitless in his speed and was able to perceive things that remained invisible to other people. However, these supernatural abilities also brought with them negative thoughts and unbridled anger. He was in a constant battle against the demonic presence within him, which was constantly striving to take over. Jacob had made a deal with an immortal being and thereby gained the ability to live forever. The villagers became aware of the change in Jacob and began to feel fear of him. They exchanged quiet words among themselves while avoiding getting close to him whenever possible. Jacob increasingly began to feel a sense of isolation and loneliness while he was in a state of imprisonment, caught between his human nature and the growing demonic power that seemed to thrive within him. However, instead of giving in to the dark temptation, Jacob made the decision to use his newfound abilities for his own benefit. He provided support to the villagers by protecting them from possible dangers and by their side in difficult situations. Over time, the village community developed a change in the way they treated him. The initial fear gave way to a feeling of respect and appreciation. However, Jacob was forced to leave the village after the villagers noticed that he was not aging. Over the past centuries, Jacob has traveled around the world and witnessed many significant historical events. He was actively involved in the warlike actions of the Crusades, studied intensively under the greatest scholars of the Renaissance, and experienced firsthand the profound changes of the Industrial Revolution. During each historical period, he chose to adopt a new identity in order to conceal his true nature from others. During the 20th century, Jacob lived in various major cities and was thus able to witness firsthand how technology developed at a breathtaking pace. He worked in the fields of science, art, and entrepreneurship, and always made it a point to stay out of the spotlight. During the 1960s, he was actively involved in the human rights movement in the United States and fought passionately for the recognition of equality and justice. At this time, Jacob is living in a modern metropolis, where he is working as a recognized writer. He uses his almost inexhaustible life experience to write captivating stories that deeply touch a large number of people around the globe. Although Jacob is immortal, he feels a deep longing for human company and friendship, but he is aware that he must always keep a certain secret.